What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to episode 2 of the Quick Stop podcast. I assure you I am live. I'm back to this episode basically talking about conventions. Primarily is EGX, my history of EGX, some sort of tips I will recommend with the show if you've been before, or tips you might not have thought of. I know a few people in the community have been or are going to this year's events. Yeah, do a little bit of history on my sort of that's my history of the event. It's pretty much the only event I go to. I know this year, or during the year, I worked at London Film and Comic Con. Amazing experience. Would love to sort of go as an attendee at some point. Maybe a target for next year. I don't know. But EGX, if you don't include years of red lockdowns, I've pretty much done every year since 2011. I've been to I've been to the main show at the end of the year and the rest. I've probably overall probably been to 15 plus EGX events, give or take. So I've done a few things. Going. I'll do a little bit on res because that's probably easier. Probably wanted it through like tip wise. Some tips transfer over. Yes, pretty much that's what transfer over to the main show. So primarily it was raised because it's a 3-day event and it's basically the indie version of EGX. It is targeted for the indie games. You might get say 1 or 2 big games. If you like, I don't know, the year that Persona 5 was there, I was there 1 year, and Sniper Elite V2 Masters, that was there 1 year. I think one Dark Souls game was there 1 year. So that's the one big game, and the rest sort of indie. So what rule of thumb, you really need a day. Like unless you're meeting people different days, and you want to do more than 1 day. But generally speaking, if you're going with people, and from my experience, with raised, you sort of need, unless you're doing like watching panels, meeting people, you do need 1 day. If you're playing just games, because rule of thumb, I think Dark Souls was about 20-30 minute wait. That was I normally on the weekdays because all of them queue to Twitter. Then half an hour for that. So one thing I will suggest is, I know it can be tricky because they roll out things so they're showing, but try and sort of plan your best day for you to go, and basically, or if you're going for 1 day, make a little plan of what you're gonna do. So if there's games you want to play, like you want to play, if there's gonna be like bigger games, which really is not too bad, either hit them first and the smaller games later, or if you're going to watch a panel or a show, try and see timing on cues to fit with that. Because especially with the bigger show, which I'll now get into now, the bigger show you will need, from my experience, also this is done me a bit different because I'm doing 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But all of thumb, I think with the big show, as I call it, September, October, November time one, because they sort of shuffle days around, I recommend 2 days. And the way I personally attack it is depending on where days go. And one day could be the longer queue day, and the other day is basically things that you want to do that are not as long. It's like one year when the Tom Clancy's Division was there. I think me and mate Jamie was in the queue for about 2.5 hours on a weekday. So I would hate to know what it was on a weekend. So yeah, and Titanfall, when that was there, obviously I didn't play at the event, unfortunately, but that was meant to have been on a weekday, a 3.5 to 4 hour queue. Weekend is about a 5.5 hour queue. So games like them, I know Call of Duty normally is a longer queue. Things like that, do on one day. And the second day, like with me, I normally hit the retro section. I normally sort of look around the merch sets, like stands, the indie titles, the left field collection. I normally look at, and I normally go on like little free merch hunt. I normally look for like free stuff like lanyards, buttons, like that. Which lanyards is one of the things I like picking up at these events, because I'm a bit of a lanyard whore, if you will. Another thing I will recommend is, firstly, if possible, try to put some gadget on beforehand. If you're not in a rush beforehand, because it does get warm, does get a few thousand people in a room with monitors and lights. It does get warm. Not necessarily smelly, but warm. But obviously try and avoid the smell. Deodorant helps. Some years I'm not the best with it, I'll definitely admit. I do try my best. Water, try and get some fluids. EGX, especially the big event, are pretty good with not necessarily water, but fluids. I think last year or 2019 they were giving away little cans of Coke Zero. I've been last year actually. Some years they'll give away free Mountain Dew. There's been tornadoes. There's been kick. Sometimes I do away free energy drinks. So if you're lucky, you might get some of that. Rule of thumb, water will help. Food wise, I try not to get in the show floor. Not in the. I don't buy food. With XL, I think I got a Subway last year. When it's tobacco docks or res, I normally do the McDonald's around the corner. Because show floor food and drink, especially if you are the sort of person that buys merch, it will be pretty much one or the other. Merch wise, there's a especially this year, a plethora of stands. There's even pop stands, clothing, like noni merch, retro games. But yeah, EGX in general is a sort of event that is built for gamers / nerds. It's there to sort of be a good time for you. It's basically you make the best of it as much as you can. Whether you meet people, which I think this year I'm doing. I think 2 days I'm doing with mate Ashley. Saturday I'm meeting up with Retro UK and Cooper's World. So for me, I'm meeting people. 2 other side little things I have to recommend. Thinking about it. Comfy trainers and a bag, either a messenger bag or rucksack, because they will. Trust me, they will come in handy. But yeah, I can't wait for this this EGX. It's looking to be back more forward to it was before lockdown. We won't truly know until the show itself. So fingers crossed. But last time I've said in previous videos, I am going to be there 3 days. So keep an eye on the anvil. I will probably do, like, I think there's Wi-Fi in the building. I might use their Wi-Fi. I might put up, like, on my Instagram photos of areas I'm going to be for a little while. If you're at the event the day I'm at and you see that picture, you know, to sort of bombard me with hugs and kisses, if you will. So yeah, this is episode 2 of the Quick Stop podcast. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And yeah, hope to speak to you guys soon, and ciao for now.